CIA operation from the inception, even in the 80s. CIA financed 80s hip-hop. John Holmeston, a retired CIA agent, has admitted this week on national Russian television that the CIA was behind the creation of the 1980s hip-hop scene and financed major hip-hop acts, including NWA, African Vampire, and Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. African Vampire, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. The CIA was there from day one. Your day one niggas. The time spent big money, serious money, this is in quotations, on this covert operation destined to plunder the vision and corruption of the American to nihilist, anti-establishment, and anti-American ideologies. Stop. They're trying to get anti-establishment and anti-American activities. With Crazy Bone Reddit, the dude said, well, where's Brand New Meat? Where's Latifah? Where's Public Enemy? Where's all of that shit? But they also work to get you to believe anti-establishment. They're just step one before you get to gangster rap. But why would they not infiltrate after they just COINTELPRO Black Panthers, after they shut down all the civil rights movements, all the American Indian movements, all the feminist, all them other movements that was going at the same time? You think they didn't? It was done. COINTELPRO was over. No.
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Unto his life furnace, on the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. And not so surprising news, but I find it interesting because the people that's expressing it, look what's behind them. Yeah, it's just funny how things are, man. Look what's behind it. Which is behind all the messages that we believe that is true so far, and we believe that it's for the good interests of the people, but the same individuals that's telling you about the industry, about the things that's going on, are also playing in the other side. Like this. So how you gonna, sit there and tell us this, that, to the third, and look who you got behind you? So this whole entire world, the vibration has always been a vibration of Satan. All right, straight up and down. And these are part of the day ones. And going back to what did he say? He was saying it too. No, this guy was saying it better. He said it too. He said they infiltrated all of those things. Why would you not think hip hop was gonna be controlled opposition once you open your eyes? Everything's in control. The guys in the 60s, the 50s, 60s, 70s, they're always in control. All right, every last one of them. They all had to play the oath. All right, is a secret society. All they want is trust. Yeah, damn. Even that guy used to say that. The Camel Man, Jay-Z. But all of this is part of the industry. A lot of these people, a lot of these stars that we believe that just came up out of nowhere actually are related to somebody that was part of the industry. They have the talent. It runs through in their spirit and also through their bloodline. So it's not surprising that a music that I grew up fond too, that it was rebellious, that is gonna remain. That was, and hip hop is the most rebellious ass fucking music of them all. And what was it rebelling from? From the music that was there before, because at the time it was in the charts. At the time when hip hop rap music was in inception, disco ran the charts. What we call R&B, soul, funk, all of that was running. It ran its course. So obviously, young men who was at home listen to their parents' music and realize how their parents' music kind of pacified them. They felt a certain way about it, so they rebelled, and we rebelled from that old music. And even even when they did rebel from that old music, why did this for? It still didn't it didn't add up. Sorry, not add up. I'm sorry. I was watching something. It's still they needed the music of old to kind of hit the youth because everybody grew up listening to a particular type of brand of music and everybody was familiar. This is how they got samples. The most sampled person in hip hop was James Brown at that time, which was in the 80s when the era we call the golden era of hip hop. All right, the golden era of hip hop was like 88, 87 to like 1990 because it kind of fell off a little bit and then it reunited again in like 93, 94 because it got real commercialized. But that's neither here or there. But why were they infiltrated? Because it's all about the influences of the music. And we all know that that's a brand of music that's very emotional and it can make you do things that you think you don't want to do. And they know us. They know our minds. Because Esau studied us. I was gonna get that, but I don't have to get that one. Esau studied us because why he's a prime hunter. That's all I was gonna get. Real quick, Psalms 107. No, sorry, 107. 137. I saw that one. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. We hanged our harps upon the the wallows in the midst thereof. For for there they that carried us captive, carry us away captive, required of us a song, and they that wasted us required us mirth, saying, "Sing us one of the songs of Zion." And why would they say that? Because it was famous for singing great songs to our Lord. All right. This is why Esau knows for a fact that quote unquote blacks, Latinos, when we in that and Native Americans, right? And some people are like, well, we don't listen to it. It's not popular. Well, do you know Michael Jackson, the whole entire Jackson family? They Native Americans. They could sing their asses off. All right. So, because why we all Israel is in our spirit. Okay, we sing. This all the Psalms are actually a song. It's poetry in a song. So they knew Babylonians knew. They heard of us. They heard of the great songs. Like, yo, these people could get down. Okay, these people have that ability. So if they knew that these are our enemies, how much more Esau today, who studies us, who knows? Because what is the foundational music of America? The blues. Literally is the foundational form of music. The blues that came from whom? The slaves. Okay? And why they sing the blues? Quite obvious, because it was in captivity. So if we, like, through the spirit, if we are in a low state in our captivity and we can make music the way we make it, how much more in the kingdom of heaven to be continued? It says, how shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? Yeah, how can it's like, ooh, that cuts gospel. I just thought about that. That cuts gospel. Gospel music, which we all know what the word gospel means, the good news. The good news music is not that good. All right. Why is that? The good news music, you can't be in captivity. We're in captivity. All right. So everything that we sing from our souls, and our souls we're harmed for what's been done to us. We have trauma. All right, blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. So this is why I believe it was another person in Russia that made a statement saying that hip hop causes people to go in depression and what you call it? They said, I think they said depression. Some people have suicidal thoughts and all this other shit. It's because it's still come from that essence of the blues. All right, you can't really have um good music where the Lord's chosen people are in the condition that they are. They are. Shit, Jake can make fucking uh, a bad situation real good. All right, Jake can do that. We have that ability. How about Shimei Shai has given, because we are the we are experts at everything. We are the greatest people on the planet Earth. All right, we are holy people. We're special people, a peculiar people. So everything we touch, it comes from the soul, comes from the heart. All right, the mind. It even comes from the bitterness of the soul. So the music is the extension of our souls. So what these mother effers do, and they always do, because they can't do nothing themselves, they allow us to create so that way they can infiltrate. And once they're infiltrated, they can manipulate the people however they please. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. The CIA was helped create Hollywood. CIA has influences in music prior to the form that we know as rap, hip hop, all that good stuff. Okay? The CIA infiltrated all that because what a Central Intelligence Agency, how to work the minds of the people. So even back then, the other nations knew that our spirit. All right. It says, "If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. And if I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy." And right now, our people have not, as a whole, our people believe that we come from Africa. That's another factor. So everything has spiritual implications behind it. The way we think, the way we do things. See, when Jake um, came up concept, "I'm black and I'm proud," they thought they was from Africa. All right. So when they pray to the east, they gotta pray to Africa. So even in that sense, Jake was off. All right. We're a lost people. We don't know ourselves. We don't know our capabilities. Hosea 4:6, it says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou has rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee." So we don't have our stability. All right. Damn near every damn song. Like years ago, I made a mixed CD, not a mixtape. No, actually, I did make a mixtape back then. Literally a tape, and I had to make some mixed CDs, and it was all the positive rap music I find. Hey, believe it or not, it wasn't that much. It was mostly Woo's for the Wu Tang for the children, and like few artists here and there, but for the majority of the part, it wasn't. The industry wasn't pushing a positive outlook of the Lord's chosen people because they was taught to think of themselves of everything else but the children of the Lord. Real says I'm here, Hosea 1:10. It says, "Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in that place where it was said unto thee, you are not my people." And where's that place? That's here in America. America was a place where it was said to all the Lord's chosen people, you are not the Lord's chosen people. This is the place. All right. And it says, there it shall be unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. And you're not gonna grab the Lord's chosen people by putting up pot what you call Hebrew is Hebrew rap music. It's not gonna work because it's still the same vibration. It's all about the essence. What needs to be taught is the 100% truth. That is the goal. That is the only way. If you do it, if you dilute this truth any other way, it's not going to work. It can't work, and we're seeing that clearly day by day. Like this, there's only one way. It's unadulterated truth. Okay, the pain and suffering that we all have, it needs to be let out. Now, yeah, you could put a few words of positivity, but it's not. It's who controls it. Oh, since I said that, and Esau has, even though he can't play, not play, but he can't what you want to call it, can't make great songs himself. He still has a part. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. This is a classic. Genesis 4 and da, 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 da. It is a fourth chapter. I know that for a fact. Right, there it is. Tubal Cain. And Lamech, other wife, Zillah, gave birth to a son named Tubal Cain. He became an expert in forging tools of brass and iron. Actually, that's not him. There's another individual. Just good. Well, actually, hold on. Let me get back to that. Hold on. What was that? Oh, there he is. Verse 21. And his brother name was Jubal, the first of all, who played the harp and flute. And this is out of the descendants of Cain. So, which the descendants of Cain are Esau. So they have themselves. Oh, where was that? I'm reading the wrong one. But it's right here. It says Oregon, and then his brother's name, King James version. His brother name was Jobal, and he was Jobal, the father of all such as handling the harp and the organ. So they know how to manipulate the very essence of sound. Okay, this is all intelligence, proving that Esau is a demon. Things have to be created for him to infiltrate. And here's part of our history that proves that there's spirits behind everything. 1 Samuel 16, start at 21. And David came to Saul and stood before him, and he loved him greatly. And he became his arm bearer. And Saul went to Jesse, saying, Let David, I pray thee, stand before me, for he hath found favor in my sight. And it came to pass, when the evil spirit from the Most High was upon Saul, that David took the harp and played with his hand. So Saul was refreshed and was well, and the evil spirit departed from him. So you could use music in a negative matter when it comes from a negative people, and you could use it in a positive matter when it comes from the children of the Lord. All right, and our people were known famous for singing to this day. How many you could go even damn. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick.
I'm tired of being poor and even worse. I'm black, but so it hurts, and I'm looking for a purse to snatch. Time to give it to about the Negro. Pull a trigger, kill a nigga, he's a hero. Get the crack to the key to the Hellgirls. One last time with my up on the welfare. Fresh shipping over, let the leader brothers. Give them guns, stay back and watch you kill each other. I take you to the candy shop. I'll let you with the lollipop. Go get good, don't you stop.
All right, that's enough. But you see clearly that our music, they have to have our music in order to knowing the influences. It's not why they don't mark their own shit. All right. Yeah, I knew that was gonna be that one. Why they couldn't mark their own shit? Because they don't have nothing. They need to mark Israel. All right. So this proves like these people are soulless, and they need. All right. Music is made for everyone. Music is made for all mankind, but the best at it is obviously the Lord's chosen people. So I just wanted to get that. Kind of messed up, but I wanted to get that. And we get this other scripture proving that music has even a far sinister outlook to it because of the who's in control of it. I'm gonna go. It says Daniel 3:1. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits and the breadth thereof 6 cubits, and he set it upon a plain in Dura in the province of Babylon. And then Nebuchadnezzar king sent to gather together the princes and the governors and the captains and the judges and the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the province to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the province were gathered together into the dedication of the image of the king that set up, and they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then the herald cried aloud, "To you it is commanded, O people and nations and language," which is that was the Syrian Babylonians that ruled the current world at that time, which that was a form of the New World Order. That statue representing what? Of all nations worshiping one. All right, Satan. Was Nebuchadnezzar, he got big-headed. All right, so he made a statue of himself. But what other than threats, what else did they use to enforce that? It says, and sorry, 5. That at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, the psaltery, the decimal, and all kinds of music, you shall fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king have set up. So they, knowing the influence of music, is not surprising that they will use music in order to push an agenda because it was done already. All right. When something sounds good, what do people tend to do? People tend to follow whatever sounds good. This is why the majority of music today is what? It's filled with adultery, murder, all right? All the negative thoughts you could think of because it's the ones that's behind it. Now, everybody loves to blame Jake. Well, they're the ones that's rapping about it, but it's those that's behind it. And this right here shows you those that's behind it. All right, the people that was told to worship or to get thrown in the oven, there was influence. They was being threatened, but those that were behind it, their intentions were evil. All right, it says who fell down and whoso falleth not down and worship the same hour be cast into the midst of burning fiery furnace. So those are the options. Those were the option that was laid out for the people. So today, like I was, going when you listen to the 1950s, 60s, I just like to use one particular group, not group, but record company back then, which we all know Motown was highly motivational, they ruled for a long time. It was supposedly Barry Gordy, but he also got help from Esau, the Small Hatters. The more you realize, the more Small Hatters have a lot to do with everything. But that brand of music was the positive love outreach. But for a time that music was around, there was so much things that was going on. And during that time was what? The civil rights. All right. So the civil rights movement, the theme for the civil rights could never be a theme. I believe I was watching Sam Cooke uh, documentary on Netflix many years ago. A very good documentary to watch. And in that documentary, Sam Cooke with the movement, he wanted to make his own song for the movement, but it got hijacked by who? A small hatter. Okay, let me see if I'm gonna Google it. I forgot the name of the song. Civil rights music. Let me see. And it was a small hat wearer, which proves that they had the influence of that time. All right. Um, I know it's not gonna come out the way I want it, but let me see if I can. They're gonna turn me down. No, no, no. What was the first? Yeah, yeah, yeah. The change gonna come. That's Sam Cooke. I believe it was "You Shall Overcome." I think. Let me see who sung that song. There you go. uh, "We Shall Overcome." Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, it was this one. "We Shall Overcome." Writer Pete. Pete. Seeger. Pete Seeger. All right. He's the one that he said did not write "We Shall Overcome" from scratch. But he was an instrument. Nope, 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 nope. They didn't say that. They didn't say that. That's a lie. Yeah, he probably didn't write it, but they influenced it for the civil rights movement. Okay, and Sam Cooke was upset because he wanted to do something because he himself is a Jake. I'm bringing this up for a reason. So he came up with the song "A Change Gonna Come," which is beautiful. So when it came to that speech, the Martin Luther King speech, they wrote it. When it came to the song "We Shall Overcome," they had their hand in it. Okay, all of that. So they helped influence and infiltrated the very same movement that we all believe was organic, which was originally organic, but they took over. All right, I believe it was something else. "Shall Overcome" by Pete. It was record. So depending on who's doing it, that's where the power lies at. And since we, through the Spirit of the Lord, are the children of the Lord, this is why the industry moved the way it moved, because we have the soul. They said that Elvis Presley, brother had put it up, damn near everything that all his hits, it came from Jake. His style came from Jake. I mean, he might be a Jake himself, but everything that he did was nothing original. All right. So they hijacked it because what? Why did it ultimately do that? Because it's the power of the influence. Matthew 4 and what's to the point 8. Again, the devil took him up into a high exceeding an exceeding high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them. And he saith unto him, all these things I will give thee if thou shalt fall down and worship me. I should want to the one in Luke because it tells you. Well, yeah, I'm going to get the one in Luke. Luke 4 and 6. Same thing. It says, and the devil said unto him, all this power will I give unto thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me, and to whosoever I will give it. And what he's saying, who gave him that power? It was the Most High. All right. So the ruler of this world, under the guise of Satan. This is why a lot of these musicians, especially back then, they had to do certain things in order to be a part of it, and their descendants also could have been a part of this new world. Okay, because they all worship Satan. And if thou therefore will worship me, all shall be thine. And Yahushua answered and said unto him, get thee behind me, Satan, for it is written that thou shalt worship the Lord thy power, and him only shall thy serve. So this is what's happening. So when the guy said, oh, the C.I.A had infiltrated hip hop, the music industry been infiltrated. It always been infiltrated. Every form of art, anything that has any influence in this world has been infiltrated, because who's behind it? Satan. And the people of Satan that's pulling the strings. All right. When hip hop spoke conscious rap, it was that they couldn't allow that to happen. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So after the 60s, it comes a new decade, the 70s. It's a little bit of fresh, revival, but the one guy which comes in mind is Marvin Gaye. And what Marvin Gaye did, he completely changed his whole style from being only a love ballad to pushing things that will spark the mind. This is why you have songs of what's going on, all right, what's happening, and so forth. That was during that time. They said that Berry Gordy didn't want to touch it, because their bread and butter at that time was what? The love ballads. The Motown machine was all about this love and pacifying Jake. That's what I wanted to say. It pacified Jake. All right. So with this when you pacify and you don't state the obvious, then you still have the control of the people. Because especially back then, they were pissed. Esau could have not allowed these music to tell them any different. This is why they murdered Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke was getting too big for his britches. He started his own music industry. All right, his own record label. He didn't go against. He went against the grain of what they established. So he took out Sam Cooke. All right, because what he was doing, it was positive. So this things that I didn't even know growing up, because I was, back then we only thought Def Jam, Death Row, Bad Boys, and later down the line, No Limit, and all these other, Rockefeller. We thought that these hip hop artists was making moves, it changing everything. Nah, they never changed anything. It was all part of the same umbrella. because it was already done already. That's why the scripture says nothing new under the sun. Okay, so a little quick history on that. So now we at the point of what? When things are dying out. Ecclesiastes 12, is it 4? Yep. It says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. Just talking about the prophecies taking place right now. All right, the doors, the prime example was what, 6 years ago, which is about to be 7 years. Damn. All right. When this whole thing shut down. It says, when the sound of the grinding is low, which is grinding first to what? Working. So work is low. Okay. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. So the daughters of music is brought low. This is why the same brand of music that held from the 1990s, what they said, I believe they said 93, was it 92? That was always part of the Billboard chart is no longer, and no hip hop song was in the Billboard chart because the same music is ran out. It ran its course. Okay, hip hop outlasted disco because everybody. I remember growing up, Mom Dukes was like, "Yo, how can you listen to that music? It didn't last. It lasted all these years, damn it, over 40 something years. All right, but it did not. It wasn't meant to stay. It wasn't meant to stay because it had to run its course, and it ran its course. Now they got everybody the way they want it. Now you have females rapping like dudes and dudes rapping like females. This whole thing is brought low. Let me see if I can find. When you go to the word music, it's shayar shayara, song, lyrical song, religious song, song of the Levite choirs, song. The second from the meaning feminine, abstract, singing, musical. So the music, everything that we know is brought low. All right, let me see what the NLT says real quick. Ecclesiastes 12 and 4 says, but remember him before the doors to life opportunities close and the sound of the work fades. Now you rise at the first chirping of the birds, but then all the sounds will grow faint. That has nothing to do with that has nothing to do with it. NLT sometimes is a hit or miss, and that's a miss. But the daughter of music is brought low. Right now, everything is as it prehistoric, not even prehistoric. The vibration is weak because the music is weak. It's been infiltrated and it ran its course. It got everybody the way it is. The results that we have of today is exactly what was the reason for the influence of tomorrow. So with that being said, hey, this is why Yahweh Shem Yahushai is not found in that. All right. The spirit of the Lord is in everything, but you have to teach 100% truth. You can't go that route. All right. These other camps, that's what they'll try to push. Because they still think that that Babylon the Great is going to continue. But it's not. Okay. Matter of fact, this is a song that we all should be singing right now. Revelation 14 and I started one. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having the Father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard a voice of harps harping with their harps. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne. Was it actual song? No, it was the truth. All right. NLT said the great choir sung a wonderful new song in the front of the throne of the Most High. Was that, which is this truth? That's the song that we should be singing right now. Okay. And before the beast, before the four beasts and the elders, and no man can learn that song but the 144,000, which were redeemed from the earth. And that song, once again, is this truth. So that's the only song we should be singing right now. That being said, shalom to the elected nation Israel. Shalom.